Hey everybody, I'm here today to talk to you about leasing versus financing with regards to buying a car. In this video, I will be outlining the main differences between leasing and financing, and I will also be talking to you about my personal opinion on the subject matter. So let's get right to it. The first aspect that I want to outline is price and monthly payments. So, just for the sake of argument, we are going to imagine that we are looking at a $20,000 car and we are comparing the pricing between leasing and financing that $20,000 car. So, leasing is cheaper than financing on a month-to-month basis. And that means that if you look at the difference in pricing, in monthly pricing, when you are contemplating leasing or financing that $20,000 car, the leasing payments, the monthly leasing payments will be cheaper than the monthly financing payments. However, with that being said, the monthly leasing payments never end because you never actually own the car or pay it off. On the other hand, the monthly financing payments will end sooner or later once you have paid off the car and once you own the car, okay? So on a short-term, month-to-month basis, the leasing payments are cheaper than the financing payments. However, when you are looking at the cost of owning a car, not including maintenance or gas or anything like that, but just the cost of owning the actual vehicle over a long period of time, the financing cost will end up being cheaper than the leasing cost. And I'll just, give you a hypothetical example. Let's once again imagine that we are looking at a $20,000 car. And let's say that you finance the car over a number of years, you drive the car for 10 years, and then you sell it. So you paid $20,000 for the car, you've paid it off through financing payments, and then you sell the car after you have owned it for 10 years. You'll probably be able to sell it for about $5,000 if it is in decent condition, and you paid $20,000, you sold it for $5,000, therefore it cost you $15,000 to own that car for 10 years, not including maintenance costs or gas costs or anything like that. But just with regards to the cost of actually owning the car, it cost you $15,000. Now, if you were leasing a car that cost $20,000 over 10 years, or I should say leasing multiple cars, because leasing terms don't go for 10 years. They'll usually go for, let's say, 3 or 4 years, depending on the brand and the car and so forth. So let's say you leased a $20,000 car for 4 years, then you leased a new $20,000 car for an additional 4 years, and then you leased a new $20,000 car for 2 years to make up the 10-year total, 4, and 2. The overall cost of leasing all those cars and all of those leasing payments would be much more than $15,000. So when you look at pricing with regards to the short term, on a month-to-month basis, leasing is definitely cheaper. But when you look at the long term, let's say over a period of 10 years, financing will end up being cheaper. So let's go ahead and let's look at a few other aspects of leasing versus financing. However, the pricing aspect was definitely one of the bigger aspects. When you lease a car, there are mileage limits on the car. So you are limited to the number of kilometers or miles that you can put on the car per year and over the leasing term. So if you go over those limits, then you have to pay a premium price. And it can definitely be quite pricey if you go over those mileage limits. When you lease a car, you don't have the freedom to do anything to it, really. You don't have the freedom to modify the car in any way or anything like that. When you finance a car and you own the car, you can do whatever you want to it because it's your own car. So if you want to buy a car and you want to modify it with some engine modifications or anything like that, or body modifications, then leasing is definitely not a good option for you. Financing is a good option for you. And those are the main aspects of leasing versus financing. This is the way that I look at it. Leasing When you lease a car, you can afford a better car within your monthly payment budget. So let's say that I can afford $300 a month. I would be able to afford a more expensive car that has a lease payment of $300 a month rather than a finance payment of $300 a month. So if I choose to lease a car for $300 per month, then I can afford a better car. However, once again, I will never actually own that car and the payments will never end. But if I'm willing to pay $300 a month, then if I lease a car, I can afford a higher car, a better car, a higher trim level of a car, basically a more expensive car. So, and also with that being said, when you lease a car, you end up getting a new car every few years. When you renew, when your leasing term ends and you get a new car, you will be able to afford a new car every few years. So, in my opinion, leasing is like a premium option. When you lease a car, you end up paying more over the long term. However, you get a new car every few years whenever you get a new leasing term. And you can also afford a more expensive car or a higher trim level or a better car, you know, that sort of idea. So leasing is a premium pricing option, in my opinion, because you get some premium things. However, you do end up paying more in the long run. So if you are willing to pay more and you want those premium factors, then leasing is the way to go. If you are looking for the best long-term option with regards to pricing and payment and value, or if you want to modify your car in any way, shape, or form, then financing is the way to go. And that's basically it. In this video, I have outlined the main differences between leasing and financing. I have also incorporated my own personal opinion into this video. And I hope that you have enjoyed this video. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.